Good afternoon, everyone. To know that what is hacking, ethical hacking, a basic introduction. Before coming to start session, I will introduce myself. Uh, I am Vishwanath. I'm a certified ethical hacker and cybersecurity researcher and trainer, and a founder of eHacking for All. And my coming to my blog, those are my blog details. If you want, you can go through that particular thing. And so here I'm going to explain you about how hacking actually works and what is the process behind that hacking, how it will be done. Okay. So in this, you can expect less slides because I'm going to concentrate mostly on a practical session itself, and there will be a less slides. It's almost around a 10 slides itself. That's it. So we'll going further in our session. We'll go with everything will be in a live and a real time practical itself. Okay. Before that, the basic thing, what is hacking and how many types of hackers and what is the hacking process you need to know. So in this today's topic, so we are going to cover all these topics in our session. The first session, which we are going to start with the basics of hacking. Then next is the footprinting, and then scanning module. Okay, like everything will be in a real-time scanning module. How you can do scanning modules. Uh, okay, so real-time scanning modules will be going to be done over there on network scanning tools with network scanning tools. Once we're done with these things, then we'll go with the live sessions on how to hack a system with a Metasploits. Means with a Kali Linux machines, how we are going to use Kali Linux machine to hack a virtual machine with is of Windows 7. How to hack that thing? I'm going to show you that. And apart from that, it's an make it as a additional add-on like bypass authentications of a web application, like how hackers are going to hack a web applications without username and password of a DB. Okay, without username password of administrator panel, how they can log in into a particular web application. So all these we are going to start with these sessions. Okay, so chalo, we're going to start with the session on basics of ethical hacking. Is nothing but what is hacking. So you all know about like security. I think you are all about to know about security, but just a basic thing. What is hacking is nothing but the process of attempting to gain unauthorized access, successful unauthorized access to a computer resource or a network resource, anything which is not ours, on any unauthorized access. That is called hacking, right? What are the process you are going to follow to hack unauthorized access? That comes under hacking. So here what happens is there are two types of hackings are there, like hacking and ethical hacking. The name only tells, like our webinar is on ethical hacking right now. So the difference between hacking and ethical hacking is a simple thing. The name only tells you that ethical means you need to follow some rules and some protocols to make that particular hacking. So what happens is a normal basic person, when a person like we all heard about news, right? Recently Zoom was done, Zoom username password was leaked into dark web and all those things. Even our loan banks loan issues are also going on right now. So that comes under criminal activity, means unauthorized access, and they are going to get your credentials and they are going to use it in a some other way. That comes under criminal activity. But when it comes to ethical hacking, with a permission, we are going to test that particular network and computer resources with some protocols, and we are going to write a report to that particular person that there is a loopholes or a bugs or find out on that particular network or a particular machine. So you need to pass that. So that is a job of ethical hacker, and a normal hacker, he won't report that, he will exploit that particular bugs. That is the main difference between a normal hacker and an ethical hacker. Okay, so the same thing which I have shown you over here is the same thing, right? A hacker access computers or a system network without authorization, that it comes under a criminal activity, he breaks the law. But when it comes to ethical hacker, he performs the same activity but with owner's permission. That comes under ethical, means he has to follow some protocols, and those will be employed by a companies, and those are called as penetration testers. Okay, see, if you want to ask me any questions or anything, you can ask me it in a chat. Okay, I think someone is not going. Are you able to hear my voice? I think someone is not good. It's not getting my voice.
Hi, the voice is clear and the questions and will be asked out only in the end of the Q&A sessions, as
Then it's fine.
as this will be recorded and uploaded on the YouTube.
Sure, sure. Okay, done. So, if you have any doubts, you can ask me in the QA sessions. At the last 10 minutes, we'll go into do with the QA sessions. You can ask me over there. Okay. So, and one thing which I want to know that all are ethical. You want to become an ethical hackers and everything. So, I have doubt that, see, when you learn any course which is related to a Java, you search for a Java developers job designation. When you learn any C programming, you search for a C developers. Or if you learn any cloud technology which comes under AWS or Azure or some other thing, you will search for a designation with the name of cloud engineer, right? But here, whenever you learn a course with the name of ethical hacking, but you won't find any designation with the name of ethical hacking. Apart from ethical hacking, they are going to give you a designations with the name of cybersecurity analyst, cybersecurity consultant, or penetration testers. All other designations are going to give you apart from this particular name. Okay, but when you go for skills, they are going to mention that ethical hackers. Okay, CH, certified ethical hacker, but they are not going to mention this particular name in designations, because when you comes because why I'm going to talk to a general thing is, when you go for any technical discussions or when you go for any interviews or some other things, they are going to ask you first test your general things like general knowledge. So why they are not going to prefer ethical hacking? The word hacking or a hacker word is not going to be mentioned in designations, means that comes under offensive word. So you should never use offensive words in a designations. So that's the reason they are not going to give you a designation with the name of ethical hacking, but they can give you a name of ethical hacking or certified ethical hacker in a skill set. So that is the main the designation they are not going to give you. Okay, when you go for a companies, if they're going to employ for that particular company, they are going to call it as a penetration testers, because you are going to test a particular network or a particular website or but anything you are going to test on a security side modules, and you are going to write a report to a particular department who is the responsible. So those are called penetration test and penetration testers. Those are called penetration testers. Okay, for this thing you need to follow some process. For everything you need to follow some process, right? So in the hacking also, if a criminal hacker or a normal ethical hackers, he also does the same thing. He has to follow some protocols, he has to follow some rules. For that thing, there is a hacking process you need to follow. It involves in 5 stages. The first stage, whatever you are going to see here, is the food printing stage. Okay, this is a food printing stage, means nothing but information gathering about a particular target. The target might be anything, like it's a website or a network, computer network, or a system or a mobile phone. Anything can be a target. So first you need to do food printing. Without food printing you can't do hacking. So means information gathering about a particular target is called food printing. Once you're done with this food printing, I'm going to show you how to do food printing in online about a particular website. Okay, the next session will be on that thing only. Once you're done, collection of information was done with everything, then the second stage you are going to do with a scanning module. Okay, the scanning module here, what they are going to do is, based on information, what they got information, based on the particular information, they are going to use some tools, network security tools, and they are going to scan that particular target to find the like port numbers. What are the port numbers which are available on the network? Okay, is there any architecture of a OS? All those things, like which is collect information related to a network level. So that comes under scanning module. And apart from that, they are going to get the information about a bugs, like if there is any vulnerability, the scanning tool will going to tell you that there may be a possibility of a bug, but they won't give you 100% assurance. We are going to test that particular bug based on a scanning report, and we need to confirm that whether it is correct or not, because it may be a 50-50 chances. Okay, so the manual confirmation is very very important in this particular ethical hacking. No, you should not trust on 100% trust on tools. Okay, the tools are going to use it for a time saving purpose actually. Okay, then next one is enumeration mode, the third phase. The third phase third phase is nothing but whatever the information we gathered from a footprinting and a scanning module. The third stage is we are going to launch attacks, launching of payloads. That comes under enumeration. It means whatever the vulnerability we found, based on that particular vulnerability, we are going to launch attacks and we are going to test that whether this is possibility is there or not. For example, if you take a website, so you are going to test that particular website whether outsiders can hack that particular website through any possibilities are there or not. So the enumeration in mode, they can be a payloads. Payloads can be a software or a piece of a code, whatever you are going to use in a particular hacking. That comes under enumeration mode, means launching of attacks. And the fourth stage is attack and gaining access. Means if the attack is successful, then you are into a fourth stage. You are into a website or a network, and whatever the criminal activity, if a criminal hacker, what he is going to do is he's going to modify details or he's going to delete the data or some other thing. But ethical hacker job is to only end at fourth stage. Means whether it is success or a failure, he has to write a report and he has to report that thing. But a normal hacker, he won't report that. He will exploit that and he will do modifications. So that is the main difference. Like ethical hacker follows only one, two, three, and fourth stage. But in fourth stage, whenever he logins into a particular website, he will log out and he will write a report with the taking of a screenshots and everything. That comes under penetration testing report. But a criminal hacker, what he's going to do is he's exploit that thing and he's delete everything or modifications, whatever he want, he will do. So fourth stage. And after that fourth stage, then the escalating of privileges means if you are logged into a normal user, escalating privileges is nothing but acquiring administrator privileges of that particular network or a website. And once you're done with that, covering of tracks is nothing but once you're done with your job and everything, a hacker done with that particular job, he's going to delete all log files because there should be no proof that he has entered into a website or a network. So he's going to clear all the log files. And before leaving a particular network, he is going to create a backdoors, nothing but a trojans. You can call it as trojans, malware, anything, spyware, anything. So he's going to leave that particular backdoors in a particular network for further for the next time he want to enter into particular same network, he can directly enter through that particular malware. He doesn't, I mean, he can save this all this footprinting, scanning, and enumeration. He can directly enter through that particular backdoors. That is a process right now every hacker should follow to test any network or to test any website. Okay, this is the thing we are going to follow. So first thing, the we'll go with basic part is done, like a basic introduction. Then we'll go with the live practical sessions, whatever we do. Okay, the first stage is a footprinting. So footprinting stage is nothing but footprinting is a process of collecting as much as information possible about a particular target through online. Okay, and attackers gather publicly available sensitive information about a particular target. So the definition only tells you footprinting. Printing means footprinting means nothing but we are going to gather about a target. So how can we gather information about a particular target? So there are so many resources are available. Google is giving so many resources. And one thing you need to know, Google hacking means we are not going to hack a Google server. Every hacker is going to use Google as a tool to gather information. So that is called Google hacking. So here I am going to show you how to collect the information about a particular website and how to gather a sensitive information which is publicly available by mistake of a particular organization. See, whenever a website was developed by a developer, he's going to write a configuration files and everything, right? But here what happens is if he doesn't make that particular files privately and is publicly visible that particular sensitive information, we can gather that information through Google. So I'm going to show you that one also. Okay, so first we'll go with the footprinting of websites. We'll start our practical session from here onwards. Okay, the theory part will be very less. Sorry for that. So we'll go with live sessions. Okay, so we'll go with the Google first because Google has everyone's favorite search engine is Google, but hackers search engine is not a Google. Okay, they are going to use Google as a tool. That's it. So I'm going to show you some websites. Yesterday, if you go through that particular session, they have given you about OSI in frameworks, means information gathering. The same thing here also, we are going to do the same thing, information gathering about a particular target. So here I'm going to use a website which is called whois.domaintools.com. Okay, whois.domaintools.com. This is a website we are going to use to gather information about a particular website. Okay, or any IP address, anything. So here first you need to know about a particular website IP address. How to know website's IP address? It's a simple thing. When you go for a command prompt, there is a command which is called ns lookup, means name server lookup. Here what it is going to do is it is going to convert a domain name into IP address and IP address to domain names. Okay, so here if I want to know the IP address of a, for example, we'll go with KFC. Okay, kfc.com. See what happens. The kfc.com is this is the website name, domain name. So it is converted into IP address, because IP address only routers and switches and any networking devices will understand only IP addresses, not domain names. So we are going to get the domain name of that particular website from NS lookup. So you can use this IP address to gather the information. Otherwise, you can use this particular domain name also. That's not a big deal. Okay. See, if I use kfc.com, see what happens. It is going to gather the information about a particular website. So what is the website name? KFC. Okay, this is the website screenshot history. Whatever we are seeing right now here, you can see the history of that particular website. kfc.com. So we'll say where KFC is in right now, it's online. So how to know that whether it's in online or not? Just pinging by kfc.com. Okay, the command is ping.com. So ping domain name. So it is replying back with that particular IP address. So it is in live right now. Okay. Then we'll go with the details of a who's records. So the registered name is web admin, and the next registered organization is Yum Brands. Means actually we know about KFC. Everyone knows about KFC, but the main parent company of a KFC is the registered company is Yum Brands. Okay, that is the main thing, and where it has registered in US, and restaurant where he has registered about that particular URL and where they are what's they are going to get the services from this particular restaurant. Okay, and from here we are going to get that information when it was launched, the first website 1997. Means in 1997 July 13th the website was seen on internet. Okay, and when it is going to be expired, that is on 2025 July 12th. Okay, and when it is updated, it is 2019 June 7th. Means something they have changed in a website or some modifications they have done on that particular website regarding like a coding or some other things. Okay, so here this is a thing you are going to get that information. And what are the name servers they are going to use? These name servers. Okay, so for every country they are going to use the different name servers. Okay, so these are the name servers they are going to use for that particular domain. Okay, then what is the technical contact information? Means who is going to maintain this particular website, and what is the, if you want to contact a particular person, that is the technical information of that particular website. So this is the address of a particular technical contact information. This is the email ID and this is the phone numbers they are going to give you. So this is the tech contact. Okay, and this is the IP address of a particular hosted server. Means this IP address is nothing but wherever it was hosted that has a dedicated server, and we are going to get that particular the IP address of a server. Okay, that is a dedicated server, and this is the IP address of a dedicated server where it was hosted. And the IP location, this IP address was located in Cambridge. Okay, so here we are going to get the IP location also. And once you're done with this, you can see the next level. See, this is the basic information whatever we gathered about a particular KFC. This is a basic information. But if you want to go for further investigation, if you want more information about a particular website, so you can go with some other websites are also available. Okay, you can go with that. I'm going to show you that. See, there is another website which is called netcraft.com. netcraft.com. So this website is it is going to give you the information which is related, more information which is related to kfc.com. along with the particular technology, what technology they have used to build that particular website, and what is the name servers, extra name servers are there, what is the RSA encryptions, any certifications are there, all those things we are going to gather that particular website. So HTTPS, the format we are going to use here is HTTPS www.kfc.com. If you directly type kfc.com, it won't accept. Okay, just please click on go here. See what happens here. Yeah, we got it. It was first date seen is April 2016. Okay, well and good. And primary language English, and the site network. When it comes to a digital network information, the kfc.com, and domain register corporate domains.com. They have taken this particular domain from this particular domain register. Okay, and what is the name servers organization is the same thing. Who is dot corporate domain, because it was hosted in the same domain, so they are going to give you the name servers from this particular domain itself. And the organization Yum Brands, and we are going to get that full address of that particular head office. We can make it as, we can say it as a head office. Okay, and these are the name servers. Okay, and this is the IP address of a particular website. And then hosting country, it is in Netherlands. Right now it is in Netherlands. Okay, and reverse DNS IPv6, they're not using IPv6, but they are going to use the reverse DNS. Okay, and when you come for IPs, IP delegations means which type of IP addresses they have till now, they have taken from which group of IP addresses they have taken, means that you can see that history IP delegation history. Okay, right now they are using 23 dot series, right? So 23 dot series they have used, and previously they have used 23.32 series they have used. So right now it is the IP address, it is in Netherlands they have used using. Okay, and this is a description where they are going to get that particular ISP providers and all those things. And when you come for SSL, means nothing but secure layer, like HTTPS secure layer. So when you come for secure layer, you are going to get that certificate. So from there, which type of algorithm they are going to use, and the issuing organization, they have taken an organization, the SSL certificate from this particular company, DigiCert Inc. Okay, issuer common name is GeoTrust. Okay, and this is a web application. You all know about this web application. And these are the alternative names for KFC, means you can make it as a subdomains. You can call it as a subdomains of that particular website. Okay, these all are the domain names. Okay, domain names, DNS names of that particular website. And when you come for validity period, okay, this is a validity period of that particular certificate, SSL certificate. Okay, and let's see here they are using public algorithm key, which is of RSA encryptions, and certificate hashing is there, hash number is there. Okay, and public key is also available here. Okay, and say signature, the signature algorithm is SSH 256 algorithm, means they are going to use this particular encryptions to get that to make that data secure with this particular algorithms. And this is the date, like when it was going to be expired and when it is going to be generated. Okay, and the version number. So when it comes for other things, see hosting history. The hosting history was it is on 1st March 2016. It was hosted with this particular IP address with a Linux based OS, and this is a web server they are going to use. And right now it is changed to in 2018 March with this particular IP address with a Linux machine and the same thing. But here it was version was changed 1.6.2, and here 1.12 is there, means updated version. Okay, here 0.59 is there and 0.60 means its updated version is there. And right now they are using this particular IP address itself and this particular NetBlock owner. And when you come for this, go down, site technology they have used, which type of technology they have used and everything. Fetched 2 days ago, means it is fetching only 2 days back. They have fetched this particular information. Okay, this is the information we are going to get that particular information. Even if you go for any website, you can get the information of PHP, HTML, which type of technology they have used. Everything will be going to be displayed in this particular Netcraft website. Okay, and once you're done with this, we'll go with some other excel. See, you can ask me that what is this hell of information, what can I do with this particular information? You will get it out, right? But whenever the hacker, if you want to become a hacker, if you want to become a security analyst, the first stage is footprinting. Because most of the 80 to 90% success rate will be from footprinting itself. See, we can easily we can easily send to email to a particular KFC who is the contact person. We can send an email, forging emails in the name of that particular net blocker owner address, right? So we can give this particular information and we can send a phishing mails to them to get the username and passwords of a domain credentials or anything. So all these can be done to do phishing attacks. Bypass authentication. This is a very interesting topic. Like every website will have administrator panel, right? Here, what happens is for every website there will be an administrator panel. Chat. Notes providers. Okay, sure. I will provide a notes. Don't worry about that. Okay. And this is a bypass authentication. The Metasploit was done, then bypass authentication. We are going to use an application website, and we need to log in with the administrator username and password. So first of all, you need to know how website works, right? How website is going to work for this thing. See where it is. Website works. See, this is the one how web application works, right? See, first whenever you open a login, facebook.com, automatically it goes to the web server and the web application will be opened. Whenever you enter username and password, it is going to database and then checks in a database whether username and password is right or not. If it is a right thing, if it is a correct, it will allow you into inbox. If it is not right one, it automatically gives you a thrown error message that is username password is wrong, right? This is the process they are going to follow in database. So here we are going to bluff a database. If a database administrator and web application who developed this website done any mistakes, we can easily bypass that particular machine. We can easily bypass that particular website. Okay, not a machine, a website. So here, whatever we are doing is bluffing of database. Okay. Short notes, it's not easy. Okay. Gokul, I didn't understand what you are typing. I mean, what your question is. If we do it shows it contains some dangerous content and mail is unsuccessful. How to, okay. Like if you want to send an email through these attachments, right? So no need to send attachments in Gmail. There are so many options are available to send these type of applications. So just generate a link for that application, and if you give that particular link, whenever user clicks on that particular link, it automatically downloads that thing. Okay, I will show you that in a QA session. Just 2 minutes is the last thing. Just I'm going to show you one demo site. See. See, for example, this is a website. If you go for demo.testfire.net, this is a website, right? So for this thing, you need a login, right? For without username and password, we can't log in into that particular application, right? So we'll try with admin guessing passwords. So what it is going to tell you, it is logged in, right? The same way, whenever you go with some other stuff like admin, sorry. Okay. So what it is going to show you, login failed, right? Everything is good. So here what I'm going to do is bluffing a database. Simple thing. Just I'm going to inject a blind SQL injections. So I'm going to bluff a database with some injections. See here, what I'm going to write is, this is a small injection which I'm going to do. When I click on login button, it automatically logs into this particular administrator user. Means whatever I have typed here is nothing but, see, 1 or 1 is equals to 1. Means it is a true condition. See, all the logic behind database is nothing but whenever the username is true, password is true, then only the result is true, right? In 10th class, we have used this one, I think so. True, false, the same thing, right? True, false, and false, true, false. The same thing logic applies for database also. See, if username is true, and the password is true, the result is true. The same thing, the same logic I applied in this thing, in this injection. See, 1 or 1, which is equals to 1 only, right? The result is 1 only. The 1 or 1 is equals to, the result is 1. Means database accepts username is true, and the same thing in password. So password is also true. So the both conditions are true. Then it allows you into inbox directly. So the logic behind database is, this is the one logic behind the database. So most of the people are going to they are not going to configure these type of injections like security. So database, this is a mistake of a database administrator as well as a web developer also. So this is a web application. This is called bypass authentication. Another name is bypass authentication. So these are the things, bypass authentication, and they call it as a blind SQL injection also. The another name is blind SQL injection. Sorry. So blind SQL injection, the another name for this. So these are the things which I am going to show you in this section.